Before we start, we have a tradition. We don't just talk about health, we also do things healthy. So what we are going to do, I'm going to put the music and we'll exercise for 2 minutes. You too, the Spanish. Okay? So what we are going to do, we are going to, I know that some people are exercise challenged, so we are going to get up and get down. Get up, get down for about a minute, okay? So with the sound of the music. Doesn't work. Is there a technician in the house?
Yeah, he's over there. There it comes. To your left. You okay? Go ahead.
No, sir. Just the music.
That's the right cable.
The wrong cable?
You okay? He's not under this probably. Yeah, it's okay. For the signs.
Still doesn't work.
Perfect.
We can start the panel now. You come back.
He's got a heart attack.
All right. This panel would be. Hello. Hey, Tigmo. I will let the panelists introduce each one will introduce himself or herself, there's no herself here, in 140 characters or less.
It was 150 before.
For you it will be 120, okay? Everybody 140, for him 120. So Stefan, how you define yourself in 140 characters or less, and I'm counting?
Consultant, engineer, inventor.
And your name is?
Whatever.
He's run out of characters.
That's it?
That's it.
And he's a former president of Consumer Electronics Society.
That's right.
Okay, I gave you extra. Phil, you?
Okay, company director.
20?
Academic.
30?
SSIT Board of Governors.
45?
That was about 50. And adjunct professor at the University of Melbourne.
69.
And that's it, I'm economical.
Okay. You?
Steli, industry, standardization, academia, product safety engineering society, what more? 2 children, okay?
Smoker.
Smoker,
And he came here to talk about health, okay?
exactly.
Okay, my name is Nahum Gershon. I work for the Mario Corporation. I have a background from biology to biomedicine, medical research to physics, chemistry. I'm only 65, okay? Characters. Social media, one of my passions. Design and enjoying life. Okay, So instead of each panelist give a presentation, like in all panels, which are basically glorified paper session, what we're going to do, we'll start with questions. And we expect the audience participate. So,
Use the mic.
what is mobile health to you? You know? Yes, you. What does mobile health mean to you?
And don't say ambulance, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, mobile health is a very difficult question because I'm more going into a medical device directly. I would assume they are mobile health, but they are not perceived as that. So, for example, when you talk about hearing aids, it's mobile and it's a healthcare product, and maybe it's also a consumer product, but I wouldn't call it mobile health normally. I would suppose it's more like these arm bandages or something like for trying to count your steps or try to heart rate monitors or something like that. That would be more the case of this mobile health to me, at least.
Okay. Dr. Shen?
Gerne.
And you? Your name is Lee, right? What is mobile health to you? What is mobile health to you? You want me to spell it? M-O? Yeah. What is mobile health to you?
Mobile health is a new industry where a combination of sensors that are encased inside of wearables are allowed to monitor people most anywhere in the world back through cellular data or other communications channels, and you can use it to measure heart rate, temperature, activity, a variety of sensors and signals that can help doctors know what their patients are up to or not up to in the case of exercise. And I've got a physician friend back home who wants to establish a web of people, her patients, wearing these types of sensors so excuse me, she can extend the range of what she can do for her patients.
Thank you. And how much money she can earn from them too?
Oh, yes. Maybe a little for me too.
For you?
Yeah.
10%. What about you? You have any ideas what mobile health is?
Well, I think there's a bit of confusion between what people conceive as mobile health and e-health. And in some conferences I've been to, the mobile health has been more about the use of smartphones and devices on which to put applications to read, if you like, monitor sensors that other people consider to be mobile health. So that's why I think there's a bit of confusion. The e-health part to me is the use of those sensors to monitor those rates. The mobile health is the device of which we can then access that information on. So that's what it means to me.
Stefan?
I'm not sure if I'd use the term mobile health. Probably e-health is common for data transmission or use of manipulating of data. I would sort of say more mobile devices or health care or health monitoring with mobile devices, but I wouldn't use the term mobile health.
What about you?
Oh, explaining what is mobile health. M-health, it's part of e-health.
He's a
No.
foreigner, so spelling is...
Okay. The problem is that, as was specified here, by introduction of the mobile devices, smartphone, when you have practically a computer in your hand, you can have some kind of evaluation, not specifically in the clinic, in the hospital, or at home. This is mobile health. You are in the running or moving, and you have some information about the health. Until here, all is perfect. After this, we go into the big confusion, like Phil specified here, in mixing a medical device with a gadget.
Any comments from the audience? not going to comment, I'll ask you to comment. For me, by the way, mobile health, I'm a mobile healthy man. He doesn't agree with me. Yes?
Well, I would have a comment because health. I would suppose health is not only getting the information how your activities, how your heart rate is, how your glucose values are, but also to give advice to keep health or to improve health. And so I think these gadgets are, well, yeah, it's, as we had to talk to today already, I would call it more for wellness, but not for health itself. So that's would be my comment.
Would you feel your doctor should follow you at any step you take? Do you feel comfortable with the idea that you have all those devices on you and the doctor is following you basically everywhere you go and monitors your heart rate, how many cigarettes you smoke, right? And things like that.
Right, let's explore that a little bit further. Maybe not so much the doctor, but a medical software system application that maybe does all the monitoring and analysis, looks for the anomalies, and then alerts a practitioner, doctor, to then address those. It's a bit like the weather monitoring, isn't it? We have weather stations that measure atmospheric parameters on an almost real-time basis. But that's not to say that everyone's telling us in our ear what the weather's like. But if there is a storm front coming through and we have a diversion from those parameters that is highlighting the potential event or a situation, and we need to be alerted to it, we could see that type of medical health monitoring more as an early warning system, you know, for heart attacks or seizures or something like that. And I think that's more along the lines that we should be looking at how to use this technologies and this monitoring in the same way as we monitor the weather. Early warning.
Any comment? How do you know that the actual device is working right? You know, when you are in a clinic situation, assuming if there is something wrong with the device, they will find it out sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
When I have a device on me, I'm in the field, how do you know that the device is working well?
Well, in the same way, as I said, we do for weather monitoring, is the system detects it didn't get a reading from that piece of equipment. Doesn't mean to say the patient's dead if, you know, other readings are coming through from other parts of the system. And then you, rather than, raise an alert to the doctor, you raise some alert to maybe the technical system to do a technical check on to see if the device is like we ping a computer or something like that, and we don't get a return and the equipment's faulty. Well, we need to be smart in doing that without overloading doctors with, unnecessary work.
So what do you mean that instead of just measuring one parameter, I'll have a whole array of instruments on me that will measure lots of things? So for example, if the device that measures how many flights of stairs I walked today would be in bad shape, and it would tell you that I climbed only maybe that many feet today, but actually I climbed 10 times more than that, and so I'll climb more, and then my heart will start go wrong. So then the doctor will sit on my other vital signs that something goes wrong here.
Well, from a system point of view, we have to look at system points of failure, and a device is one. The wearer is probably the in part of the system is another, but there's also the communication medium, whether it's Wi-Fi or whatever, back to the central processing system, and there could be a network issue, not the central at all. So, when we set up these end-to-end systems, we need to be, looking at the single points of failure and work out what does that mean in the context of what we're monitoring. We can't just assume it's, always with the patient, so to speak.
Here, what you specified before a moment is the mistake. Why? Because when you're talking about some parameters which a doctor evaluate in the frame of hospital, clinics, he use equipment compliant with specific standards. He used a medical device which was proved or through the notified body in Europe or by FDA in United States, referring to the intended purposes, for the intended use. Your example with the number of the stair, what you have doing in every day, it's not relevant, it's not a parametric, it's not a biological parameter. It's reflected when you're walking many stairs, the heart rate can be higher. And some doctors, to maintain your physical status, recommend doing every day 1 hour or walking or running or climbing the stairs. But this is not medicine.
No, I understand. It is medicine in a sense that, for example, when you come to a doctor's office, they look at you and they know what you are doing at that point of time. If the doctor is following me, suppose, he needs to know what I'm doing. So suppose I climb 20 flights of stairs and my heart rate goes up, he should know that it's not spontaneous, it's just because I climb a number of stairs. So the doctor needs to follow lots of things that I do, including how many steps I took. Okay? Because they don't see me unless they see a picture of me all the time. Okay? So they need to follow lots of things about me in order to understand what is happening with my medical signals, because they don't happen in vacuum. I climbed 20 flights of stairs. That's my heart rate went up. It's not just that I have a problem with my heart rate that goes by itself up and down. For some people it does.
You can stand on the street corner and to see two pretty ladies go past and your heart rate goes up. Does that mean your step counter all of a sudden added 20 steps to you in quick pace?
Maybe. Or if you have sex with your wife, the doctor should know it too.
Well, if you step off a curb and almost get run over, your blood pressure goes up pretty fast and your heart rate, and you've only taken one step.
Yeah. So they need to know what you are doing. They need to follow you.
Here is not the question if the problem of the M health, it's useful or not useful. Very clear, it's useful. The problem is how or with which you took the measurement. And what is the significance of the measurement what you receive? And if you receive one measurement, which you remember discussion we have with Stefan, in one specified accuracy, this is the tolerance practically. A specified, the measurement is confident. When you receive one result of something, like you have made in your evaluation, how many steps you've done, how many stairs you claim. This is estimatively. It's like possible to take it's one qualitative measurement. It's not a quantitative measurement.
Sometimes it's worse than qualitative. In the case of the W sensors that I had, trackers I had, one of them said that I climbed maybe 10 feet, the other one said 100 feet.
In any case, when you use with your own watch or with your device in the pocket, it's only estimative. It's not one rigorous evaluation. It's informative. You have something. You are in the correct way to protect your heart if you make some level of the effort in one day.
So you want to distinguish between strict, accurate medical measurements and other measurements, consumer-type measurements,
Sure.
let's say, consumer-type measurements.
Sure.
Anybody agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Because medical devices, as Stanley was saying this morning in his paper, they have different registration requirements. And I'm doing some work, and we might see them at the healthcare workshop in Sydney, Medtronics. They've got some portable devices which they plant on people to look at certain medical parameters. And I looked at those devices. They're big, clumsy, heavy. You know, they're not like a Fitbit or whatever you have that you carry around easily. You know, they're really awkward designs. That's what I told them, and they were surprised and shocked. And then they have big lumpy batteries in there just to make sure, for in case, you know, that they need a whole redesign of what they have. I think there's a second point here too. We sort of say the doctor doesn't do anything. Most medical practitioners are numerically illiterate. Yeah.
Well, I had contact with physicians in imaging like 20 years ago, and at that point of time, one of the physicians actually was a scientist too, so he was in both areas competent. He said, yes, doctors don't like to type, but if you show them they're going to make money out of it, they'll learn how to type. If they're going to show them, the doctors, they're going to make more money if they are numerically illiterate, they will learn it.
I think what's actually happening in industry right now with these mobile devices, looking at companies like Medtronic, they're providing the numerical analysis service to the doctor, so the doctor only has to understand the important features. They don't do any analysis. Look at the biggest con job of the century, the body mass index. That clearly demonstrates that the medical profession is generally numerically illiterate. You have a body mass index. It doesn't take account of the body shape. It doesn't take account whether you're male, female. It's only so the doctor can say, oh, and the body mass index would indicate to many Olympic athletes
They're not fit.
that they're overweight and unfit.
Well, it's true that this particular topic, this particular notion of BMI is not accurate in so many things in medicine itself. The cholesterol story, for example, Now it turns out that cholesterol is maybe not so bad for you. And people in advanced age, people in the 70s, some of them have high cholesterol. Why? Because the people with low cholesterol have already died. Okay? So medicine also has fashions and lots of things in medicine you don't believe. Doctors tell you something, and after 10 years they tell you something else. So...
Nahum, related to this, I want to show you, not important, which is the prospect for a company which present here in the exhibition. Right here, be fit, be smart, be active. In manufacture watches, in all kinds
so
of...
you first...
This is okay. I agree perfectly with this. If you need to be active, please, if you need to be active, use one device like this. Be informed. It's not bad.
But you see, they chose the words. First of all, say the first thing, be fit, and then be smart. First be fit, then you can be smart, and then be active, and then be active. They got it, the order they got it wrong.
This is a very big company. You make money with this. You make money with this very well.
So I tell you a story about the Garmin.
No, I don't want to use the name of the company. It's
okay.
Not,
that company, a lady at work has a bracelet made by that company, and she says she does an exercise class, an hour and a half, okay, of dancing and moving like this, and it records nothing. Only when she walks around. So she's been active for an hour and a half. She has been, smart, fit, active, and it records nothing. So maybe that goes with the medical device distinction. Any comment, questions? Yes?
Actually, I got some comment for that because when you use some wearable devices to measure your vital sign just means some information data. It means nothing to health. Instead of physicians try to interpret the information inside. So it needs some sort of special domain of knowledge for that. Otherwise, the information is still information. So mobile health means actually nothing to a common person such as us because it reveals some figures, but it doesn't mean to you. And everybody got different type of health status. So if you got 20 step, 100%, maybe for you it's good, but for me it's not. So I don't think that's a good judgment for that mobile health or some wearable device is good or not. But according to the medical device, that's really a restricted definition for that. Actually, there is some law for some of the regulation. In the United States, FDA got some definition for that. It's something related to the a human or animal, something like you need to treatment or some like intervention, something like that. So this kind of things got some regulation. So if you use this kind of device, then you could review some health status. So you could get the vital sign into a health sign instead of just some information. So I do think this kind of things is very important, this kind of devices. So that's why usually there is a barrier. The consumer electronics not that easy to get directly to a medical device industry because there are a lot of barrier need to pass some sort of regulation, such as in medical device there is some class 1, class 2, class 3 risk analysis. You need to some sort of analysis and pass that of information. So that's my comment for that.
So to what point does this play to more of the gadgetry market as distinct from really having any benefit? Part of our health monitoring, again, is looking at the trends in our health. And if we are living a healthy lifestyle, yes, we're going to have some ups and downs and perturbations about the perfect norm. But when you play to the gadgetry market and people are getting that, detecting the upside or the downside in real time, so to speak, then it's like, whoa, I've done something wrong or I haven't done enough. And overall, it's not really relevant to our long-term physical well-being, even in the short-term trend or the long-term trend. And I think there's really a good sales and marketing job, and I think that brochure is a good example of pushing to the public, to the consumer market, that you need to know your health in real time. You need to know instant gratification. Well, that's not really true. We all know that we can get up in the morning and not feel 100%. And it's not because we're sick, it's just because we may have a low biorhythm or something, or had a late night the night before. We recover after 2 cups of coffee and away we go, and these are the perturbations, sharp or small. And it's really the important part is being able to analyse what the trend is in our health. If we are putting in too many late nights or having too many cigarettes or whatever it is, and the curve is moving into a danger zone, that's the stuff I would like to know in terms of my well-being monitoring or health monitoring. But I really get concerned with some of these gadgets that we are giving the wrong message to the consumer market.
But maybe it's not all black and white. I'll give you an example. I'm not hypochondriac, but suppose I'm a hypochondriac, okay? One example. Oh, my heart rate is going up by 5%. My heart is going up. What's happening to me? I'm getting a heart attack, okay?
I have to take a pill.
Oh. I don't like chemicals, okay? So I'm a chemist, but I don't like chemicals. Okay, that's one example, okay? It's not me, okay? The other example, every day I try to walk 10,000 steps and at least 20 floors. And I like also not to do it at one time, like in the evening, but throughout the day. That's my goal, throughout the day. And that people, according to a medical experiment, actually, that it's better for you to do your activities spread out during your day. Don't sit on your butt for a long time, okay? The Apple Watch, what it does good is after 50 minutes of not getting up, it sends you a message, get up, okay? So that's good. Even if you do exercise in the evening, it's good that during the day you will not sit on your butt for a long, long time.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Now, if I feel satisfied because I do all those things according to the book, I feel happier. If I feel happier, maybe I live longer, I'm healthier. Okay? Sure. So it's not all kind of black and white. So even if it gives you an illusion, maybe the illusion makes you feel better about yourself, and your life will be more enjoyable, and it means you might live longer.
I'd like to see some sort of analysis done with company executives who wear those get up and move around watches to see how long it takes them to take it off or turn it off because they're in the middle of something that's urgent, or they're writing a paper and engrossed in it or something like that. And this is what I'm saying, it's to a large extent we have to separate out the gimmickry, if you like, and the gadgetry from real worthwhile, valuable technology that actually plays an important role, rather than just gadgets.
And you suggest that we should not take consumer electronics seriously?
No, I'm saying that we're probably putting a lot of effort into developing stuff that has no real value, financially it's making a lot of money for companies on this sort of stuff, but is it really adding, value to our lifestyle and our health? I really question some of that. I'd like to see consumer electronics put more into, more of the hospital and mobile health sort of market where you can't get professional medical assistance there, like an accident scene where you can come in and access a doctor that's in a capital city 300 miles away.
There is now, for example, heart patient, there is a portable EKG device that on your arm, and if there is something wrong, the doctor gets nothing.
This portable EKG, it's a medical device proper. That is small, that you can put in the hand, is something else. But referring to the point which was discussed before, to make some order, FDA in beginning of 2015 introduced a category of equipment with the name General Wellness Product. What means a General Wellness Product? Product intended to maintain or encourage a general state of health or a healthy activity. This product do not claim or make any reference to disease or medical condition. And the second category is the product that associated the role of a healthy lifestyle with helping to reduce the risk or impact of chronic disease or condition. This case, a product which promote physical activity as part of the healthy lifestyle may help to reduce the risk of high blood pressure.
So
and this is...
Then you need to get approval for the second type.
And this is the problem. The consumer electronics, which are now in the form of these watches or all kind of other gadgets, enter in this category, general wellness product, not regulated like medical device. If one of these make pulse oximetry, the percent of oxygen in the blood, or make EKG, automatically need the regulation of a medical device.
I think there's also maybe a distraction here as well. There's a lot of emphasis through the gadgetry placed on physical fitness, but most cause of our unfitness or ill health comes from what we put in our mouths and our general lifestyle. If consumer electronics wanted a good market that really contributed, it would maybe something that monitored our calorie intake, how much sodium we actually took, if we had a lactose intolerance, to something and said, okay, you've now exceeded your daily, if you have any more of this, you're going to have reflux or you're going to get high blood pressure and stuff like that. So monitoring food and nutrient intake to me is probably a much more worthwhile thing than worrying about how many steps I've taken.
I think both are important.
Yeah, I think looking at the consumer devices, really their role is not to give you an absolute value. If you have the same device that trends you, tells you what you're doing roughly, but you don't take it as an absolute value. It's just for people, if you're walking or if you're running, you want to see how much have I met my quota, am I roughly in the ballpark, and you take it as an approximation, right? And if you're using the same approximation day by day, it gives you a reference point to work from, but you don't take it as an absolute value. And that makes sense, but a lot of people get something out of it. If they don't have the device to monitor them, instead of saying, like you're counting your 10,000 steps, if you didn't have the device, you wouldn't know you had your 10,000 steps. Well, now, whether it's 999 or 10,010 doesn't really matter, does it?
I get lots of benefit from that. Yeah. But related to your advice, so I'm thinking about a device that once you reach the limit on your calories, it will send a signal you will not be able to open your mouth to eat, okay, for the rest of the day. Okay.
You are correct in one aspect, and this is not clear now. The impact, the psychological impact, the social impact of such kind of informative devices. Because, as everybody knows, not exists one kind of illness. Every person is individual in the form in which he manifests the sick. It's different. For you, one indication why the blood pressure can be up, and what effect for him cannot have effect.
I think that Tom Coughlin would like to say something or ask. You've been quiet for half an hour. I was trying to measure how long you'll be quiet without asking a question. So what's your question?
What is the meaning of life?
What?
What is the meaning of life?
What device?
What is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life?
Yes.
It depends. You want me to tell you the
Depends on
meaning of
what he
life for
finds
you,
interesting.
or for him, or for me? Okay? Okay.
I thought the answer to that was
Yeah.
always look on the bright side.
For him, a meaning of life is to be active so he could feel good.
Well, that helps.
That helps, you see.
We should go into a rendition of the
Is
body
that answer good
positive
enough for you?
on the bright side of life. Do-do, do-do, do-do.
Yeah, how many minutes do we have, Mr. Timekeeper?
We are right now at the end.
At the end, any final thoughts from you guys? I think this side of the room did not say anything for the whole time. I wonder why. You have anything to say? Yes? No? Yes?
So we were discussing till now if it's good or not good and all those things, but we should keep in mind that this field is only developing, and as in any field, in the starting point you have this dilemma: will it work, will it not work? And thinking about the future, that the human population will get sicker and sicker at an early age, and these devices will develop probably much better and will begin to be integrated, like a couple of devices in a single one. I think that will work out in the end to some extent. And as you said that we need to concentrate on the hospitals, I want to remind you that the best way to treat a sickness is to prevent it. So the idea is to move a little bit of the healthcare into the house and stuff like that, so you can prevent it as much as possible. Thank you.
The problem, you are correct, but the problem now, to prevent is very nice, but this is a slogan. Nahum, tell me, I answer him. To prevent is a very nice slogan. In reality, it's something else. The problem is the treatments in all the country around the world. It's to move, especially in the chronic situation, to move from the hospitals to home. The home care will become the main area of protection. In this environment, which is the home, the mHealth, the mobile device, can play a very important role to transmit online in real time the information to a doctor office, to a clinic. This is the problem. But our discussion, our complete discussion, refer to the status of the equipment properly, which is manufactured now which is used. It's medical device or not. Part are not medical device, part which are a medical utility, and this medical utility need very clear understood, are medical device. This is the point, this is the separation at the moment. Very well will be development in the future, the technology will advance, will obtain something fantastically. But for the moment, this is the situation.
All right. Thank you very much. In the sake of time, I got a murder signal from there, from the Spanish side of the room, and we need to finish. So thank you very much for your participation. For you too. And let's be healthy.
This is important. And what is important is to be healthy here. If here is healthy, all go okay.